everybody. This is a Lamley preview. What a preview it will be. Doing this video is fun because we are looking at some beautiful 164 replicas of a beautiful car, the Ford GT40. This is the Mark I GT40. But I have all of these Auto World releases in front of you for one reason. Now, we're in a Ford versus Ferrari world right now, right? The movie came out last year. It's been very popular. I'm sure the Oscars might give it a little bit of attention, but us car nerds have been very excited to see that beautiful silhouette of the Ford GT40 getting so much attention in that movie. A lot of people recognizing what a cool car it is, historic racing car. And boy, did our friends at MiJo Exclusives and Auto World pick the right timing, because we have a brand new set of MiJo Hobby Exclusives coming out this month. And my guess is that you are going to be very interested in these, and they're going to be a set of cars that you might be very interested in acquiring. We are going to get to these cars in just a second, these three. We're going to open up that packaging. We're going to take a look at it. I'll give you all the details of how and when and where you can get them. But let's start with what is in front of us first. I have all of the releases of the Ford GT40 so far. Obviously, these next three. You want to pay attention to these first two rows. And I will, at the end of this video, do a full turntable feature on all of these cars. Each of these are either retail releases, most likely from Walmart is the most prominent of the retail stores that carries Auto World. I think maybe Hobby Lobby does as well, of the big retail stores. But a lot of hobby stores obviously carry Auto World as well. So with on top of all of these retail releases, they're intermixed in here are hobby exclusive releases. Sometimes Auto World will do them themselves. I believe this pair of this Golf car and this black version were just hobby releases where they make them available only to hobby dealers, like online dealers and stuff. And then they've done the MiJo exclusives. MiJo is a division of M&J Toys. M&J Toys is a die-cast wholesaler. They obviously distribute to hobby dealers, and they have this MiJo division of their company collaborates with Auto World, Johnny Lightning, M2, other brands to do these really, really cool replicas. The first, or the exclusives, the first exclusive they did was actually the first Auto World to have an actual licensed Golf livery on it. I put this one over to the side, but it actually was released somewhere in between this group. And then Auto World followed with a retail release with the Golf livery as well, not only in the orange and blue, but also in the alternate dark blue and orange deco as well. So we'll work through all of these, but you can see the evolution from the first release, unlicensed but inspired, in quotes, by Ford GT40 racing liveries. Then we saw, actually there was quite a gap before the next group of models was released. This is one here, the number 27. We saw Golf inspired decos released. You can see no Golf actual Golf livery on it, but you can see the colors obviously used, light blue and orange. That happened a couple more times in that hobby exclusive I showed you. You started seeing like the McLaren livery kind of inspired, of course, and then, you know, so on and so forth. And we can work through these towards the end of the video. But we saw this McLaren inspired version, which is still my favorite, with the silver striping, the number 2 roundel, and of course the gold rims, which looks so good with the Goodyear tires. Now, I mentioned these chases in the back. If you're not familiar with Auto World chases, they do two kinds of chases. They do Ultra Reds and Ultra Raws. I don't have any Ultra Raws, but they probably are self-explanatory. They are a very, very limited number of one of these cars in a certain livery, but done raw with no paint and just the livery on it, just the deco. The Ultra Reds are kind of interesting because you can see like this Golf inspired, but they took the light blue out and just replaced it with this candy apple red color. So any Ultra Red is going to be candy apple red with some other detailing. One time they did red tires. I think that's the chase here that I don't have yet. I'm hoping to acquire. But you can see you'll take the black version that you're familiar with. This is McLaren Racing. And then they will just, instead of going black, they go red. So everything else is just the same on it. They'll also do in some cases, something unique like the red base for this one. So those are the chases, the ultra red chase. We're not really going to get into these, but I'll showcase them as part of the last turntable. There will be an ultra red, and I'm assuming an ultra raw on these MiJo exclusives. I'm hoping to get that when it comes. I will show it. But let's get to these MiJo exclusives. That means they're hobby exclusives. So your favorite hobby dealer, for me, one of the ones I use is Surplus Goodies. I've used them for Auto World in the past. They will be getting these, and a couple things to take note of. Here's the card and the packaging. MiJo likes to use this plastic packaging. This one was still using the box that I think Auto World has since ditched, so we'll probably see that change even with the MiJo exclusives in the future. Vintage Racing, I'm looking at Special Edition. You can look at the back here, mnjtoysinc.com. There's some more art. But I think the thing you need to be most aware of are the numbers. Only 2,400 produced of these, and considering the popularity of Ford versus Ferrari, the popularity of these racing replicas, I think these, and then the details that we'll get to, I think these are going to be incredibly popular. And they're going to go real quick with such a low number, 2,400. 3 versions. Auto World has only done the Mark I casting. They haven't changed it. So some people, if you want to get into the nitty-gritty, it's like, well, it should be the Mark II. Maybe one day they'll do the Mark II. I don't know. But I'm still fine with them taking their Mark I casting and adding these decos. You have the number 72. Well, let's just walk through them, right? We'll just get to it right now, and we'll open them up with the scissors and so on and so forth. But the first one is the number 72. I believe... and you guys can help me, you historians, you auto historians can help me. But I believe this blue number 72 was a test car. It may have raced a couple of times in Le Mans, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. But what I really want you to pay attention to is that this is a dirty version. This is what makes these so unique, and what MiJo really has made these special with Auto World, is that these are raced, R-A-C-E-D, cars. These are like post 24 Hours of Le Mans cars, full of dust and grime and dirt and mud, and it is unbelievably cool what they have done to make these cars look the way they do. How the process to get these licensed, to get them look this way, I have no idea, but I'm sure happy we have them. This first number 72 in blue is beautiful, and I love this. I mean, these are going to look so good compared to the other ones. So that's the first one. Test car, we'll call it. The second one, and depending on what one you feel is the most significant, this could definitely be it, because this number 2 roundel race car, dirtied up of course, looks to be loosely based on the Bruce McLaren winner. And if you've watched Ford versus Ferrari, you know the story there for the most part. They had some liberties in the story, but they took some liberties. But ultimately, it was the Bruce McLaren black and silver with the gold rims. I mentioned that was my favorite so far. So here's the version of that car. Now, with all the grime and the dirt and everything else, I mean, it looks like there's some slight differences. Well, the number 2 is on an opposite side, right? On the back. But I can show you that. I'll show you that. Well, my finger's in the way there. There you go. But these are incredibly cool together. So you have basically the car that crossed the finish line, and then finally, and I just have a feeling based on the movie and the story and everything else, and obviously the legend of Ken Miles, this particular version is going to be wildly popular. Not only among the Auto World GT40 collectors, because Auto World has not done this deco yet, but because this is obviously Ken Miles' car as well. Light blue, you've got the red detailing on the hood, the number 1 roundel, the gold rims, and then this one fully raced and grimy and everything else. Now, I don't know if Auto World will do a retail version or some hobby version of this car clean, but even if they don't, this one as a true replica, all dirtied up, is just the coolest. When I got these, I was just blown away, and I just could not wait to do a video on them, so that's why I'm doing it now, because these only came a couple of days ago. Now, what are the details on these? They will be out, I believe, this month, if not sooner. You're going to want to pay attention to your favorite hobby dealer. Like I said, Surplus Goodies is one. They will come and go very fast. If you don't have a hobby dealer you've used in the past, just pop on eBay and start watching for them, pre-sales, everything else. Because like I said, at $2,400, I assume these are going to go very, very quickly, especially the Ken Miles. So be ready for them. I think these are gorgeous. It is so cool to see the GT40 collection complete. Now I'm talking about the releases, not the chases. I pursue some of the chases, not all. But having just the complete collection is a real treat. You can still get most of these just if you pop onto eBay. I think chases are harder, but I think you can cover all your bases on these right now, and they're not that expensive. So if you like this collection, you're into Ford versus Ferrari, I highly suggest building a collection over time. Thank you to Round 2 and Auto World, and of course MiJo Exclusives for sending these out so I can preview them for you. You guys tell me what you think. Let's finish it off by running through all of these cool cars. It's just a beauty fest with this particular silhouette in this car. Auto World killed it with this casting. Thanks, everybody. Bye.